Heat check.
Heat check.
Heat check.
What's poppin', America? What's poppin', world? Maybe we got some listeners out in Italy and the Netherlands. You know what I'm saying? Since I'm half Dutch, half Italian, repping this. You might see the orange and black, and you might think Gigantes, but it is not for the Gigantes. It is for the Deutschland, as Italy did not make the World Cup. The Dutch did. But welcome on in. He is Jacob Lucas. I am Arter von Daveron. He is Arter von Daveron. I am Zachariah. This is Heat Check every Tuesday for the next couple of weeks until we switch up the day and time. I'm guessing that my video stinks. I'll be on delay. This whole show is going to blow. I bought about 75 different things in order to make this program run smoothly. I don't think that it can exist in the Berkeley Hills. I'm guessing if you live more in the flatlands, then your internet is probably a lot better than mine. Anyways, gentlemen, how we doing?
What a nice sell. I love it. Just getting people amped, getting them hyped for the show. I am very well, Zachariah. Thanks for coming. I don't believe you're on a delay quite yet. So, the AOL video will do as long as that mic is at the same time we're going, But yeah, I'm great. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody. We got a lot to talk about tonight. And I'm just happy to see Art's beautiful face. What's going on, fella? And hey, Rags in the chat line. What's up? Well, thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, what's up, Rags? Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to chopping it up about some NBA. I'll probably skip the first segment. You guys can talk as long as you'd like about the Niners NFL draft. It's wore me out. And then I'm looking forward to the rest of the show. So you guys enjoy that NFL 49ers draft talk. I'll chime in here there. I can't wait. Can't wait from there. So 7:15. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to 7:15.
I just wish that Art worked for like a terrestrial radio show or like a television place like ESPN or something, where he'd just tell the producers, or he'd tell Stephen A. Smith, or he'd tell, Nick Wright or whoever, and he'd just be like, hey, the A block, yeah, I got nothing on that, so I'm gonna tune that out. You guys go ahead, but I'm out. I'll holler at you in the B block and the C block. I love the D block. D block's got some potential. The B block for the second. Yeah, the B block for the second hour, I'm out on that too. I got nothing on that. But yeah, hey, you guys do your thing. I'll just sit here and look pretty in my suit and listen to you boys talk. Anyways, yeah, we are going to start with the Niners stuff. And look, we don't need to completely beat a dead horse, and I don't want to go over this every single show, but it is the first time that we heard from Kyle Shanahan since he sort of justified his draft and the whole process. And to me, it's not so much of what the picks are. And I think Jake had kind of alluded to that last week, in that we don't know who these players are going to be. It's more just the position that you drafted, the position that you needed, and then kind of what went into it. And to me, like, I know that the kids are saying phrases like say less, which means like the more you talk, the worse you put yourself in terms of position of justifying what most people see as like a bad draft. And the more he talks, the less I want to hear. If he had just said, hey, this is what we had, and we rolled with the guys that were there. I hate to compare it to fantasy. Nobody compares. Nobody cares about your fantasy team. So I hate to compare it to fantasy, but it's almost like, how did you reach for that guy? And if a guy's just like, I really like the guy, you know what I'm saying? Then I can roll with that. But it's his explanation behind it. And I'll play the audio here in a second here, Jake. Because I know you've been hot on this. Your whole thing went viral when you lost your mind. I don't know. Did you lose your mind when they took the wide receiver, or just when they took the running back?
No, I lost my mind initially when they took the wide receiver. That's what I was calling the whole time. And then I doubled down after the running back. So, yeah, it was actually two clips, Zachariah, that did pretty well with the people who identified with my sentiment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't want to make the clip.
Okay. Art?
Danny and Hercules wants to know if Bill can get the same camera as Art and Jake. He probably wants to know if he could get the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I think he's thinking Wi-Fi, not camera. Zach has a state-of-the-art camera. We're talking 1080p. The pixel rate is fantastic. He seems to be frozen at this juncture. Maybe, Art, you could send over a text. But if you want to go over what Shanahan said, I'll let him get back and play the clip. My thinking's still the same. I don't want to beat the wonky Wisconsin Wi-Fi. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Zach, you need to probably leave and
Black.
come back.
Why do you like him and take him third on your order here in the third round?
We thought he was and trying to think of the way to word this, but we had him as the second rated back on the board. So I mean, that's just our evaluation of him, right or wrong. That's our evaluation, and then you got to decide where you think he's gonna go. And I think that's the hardest thing with this league. You got a guy who's not invited to the combine. So what does that mean? Man, maybe it means he's going in the 6th round. But then you evaluate him, you're like, man, I think this is a 3rd round running back. But you're like, oh, he's not going to the 6th round because he wasn't invited to the combine. That's what we're guessing. Well, let's put him as a sleeper in the 6th round, which we do with a lot of guys. And that's where, we've had a lot of success on some of those dudes.
Yeah. Give me a
So
break,
I don't know
bro.
where I got cut off, but basically the Bang Bang Niner gang was questioning both the wide receiver pick and that running back pick. Here's what I don't like about what he said. He goes, he didn't get invited to the combine, so maybe you'd think he'd go in the 6th or 7th round. But you don't know what other GMs are thinking, and all it takes is one GM to think that he's actually a 3rd round pick. I mean, it's just the logic behind all of it. And what chapped me the most was the end of the clip where he says, we've had a lot of success with guys like that. Bro, your drafting of running backs history has been atrocious. So it's like, again, the more he talks, the more it seems that he's digging himself a deeper hole.
Well, I think when he's talking about when he's saying, because I imagine Shanahan's not quite dumb enough to be referring to his running back picks that haven't hit. So my guess is he's referring to other players that he had evaluated higher and maybe quote unquote reached on that did pan out a little. That would be my guess of what he's referencing. But yeah, I'm with you that he's probably saying more than he needs to. I just don't like the fact that he actually, like, I don't know how to explain it, but when somebody does something that everybody's sort of against, I don't really like going out there and like justifying yourself. Like, I actually think that is, you don't really respond. Like, it would seem too much of a dialogue with someone like Jake Shanahan. And I'm no disrespect to Jake or us or the media. Shanahan should not be in a dialogue with that part of Niner Faithful. Shanahan should be locked in. Shanahan should just be doing his thing. And I know he's asked a question, he's got to answer it, but that's the way some of those answers come off. Maybe I don't know how to deal with my own thing, because oftentimes when I have this take, because I had it with Kerr as well when he was talking about Kuminga, it's a little unfair because they're asked a question. So maybe I'm not sure what I think they should do in those cases, but that's sort of where I sit. Is it's just I don't like the idea of having the dialogue, and the rationale isn't that weird to me. If you do it with a little bit more confidence, I would say he didn't sound very confident in his tone or his demeanor in that interview as well. If he is confident and he says, and people might make fun of him, but we love this guy, we have him ranked as the 2nd running back, and we weren't going to let anybody get him. That sounds just different than the way he framed exactly the same thing. And so I don't know. There's part of how he framed it that reminds me of the crap we were giving Tony V last time we were on Waves about just the way he's approaching things. And it's funny because that's the first thing that came to my mind when you talked about the more he says, the more I think he needs to stop talking. And I look forward to getting that, because the last time I heard Tony V freaking talk, he did it again, and I'm embarrassed for him. So, yeah, Jake, what were your thoughts?
As far as, by the way, Zach's gonna try to restart his thing and his whole deal and come back to us. As far as Kyle Shanahan, he gave himself away. He's exposing himself for who he is, who I've been saying he is for the last number of years. He tries to act like he's smarter than everyone, but he has this insecurity that he tries to cover up by being the smartest guy in the room, when in fact it's this like huge chip on his shoulder and giant insecurity that he just broadcasted to everybody. He's telling you how much of a head case he is, and that's always been my thing with him. He has some great aspects as a head coach. I do not hate Kyle Shanahan for, he does a number of things really well. He chokes in big situations. He overthinks a lot of situations and is in his head when things get, very tense and intense. And in the draft, he kind of, says, go to hell if you disagree with me. I'm going to do exactly what I've been doing year after year after year after year. And he always does the same thing. He's not learning any lessons. He's not being any more humble. He's not. It seems like he has learned nothing from the last 5 or 6 years of horrible drafting. And instead he's doubling down, and obviously I've said that before. So I think he's exposing himself as kind of a fraud. I mean, a guy who has talent, but he's so in his head. He's so, why is a guy who's a tenured head coach in the NFL who's been to 2 Super Bowls trying to address what the media says about him after the kind of success he's had? Because he's been such a choke artist, because he has these tendencies that are easy to hop on. And for people like me, are easy to psychoanalyze. Honestly, I'm playing dime store psychologist, but it seems pretty obvious to me something's going on with that dude mentally. And Kyle's a head case. I've always said it, and this just sort of like guarantees it to me.
Yeah, I mean, what's very interesting to me, and this was the type of thing that I was trying to talk about in terms of the pie and what percentage of the person within the organization makes the decisions, is that, like, for instance, Andy Reid, right? He's got Brett Veach as his GM since 2017, essentially. How much influence is Andy Reid having on those draft picks? Now, another interesting dynamic is the New York Giants. They brought in Harbaugh, right? And so they had what's his face? Not Vereen, Giants GM. He was on Hard Knocks. He was the one when he was giving up Joe Sheen. He was the one that gave up Saquon Barkley, and then Saquon Barkley won the Super Bowl with the Eagles. They decided to re-sign who's the guy that went to the Colts?
Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes. They re-signed him instead of Saquon. Anyways, all that stuff was on there. And then when Harbaugh got there, they thought Sheen was going to get fired. But basically, he didn't get fired, but it was clear that Harbaugh was going to be the one responsible for the draft pick. So if you were to ask me, and again, I'm speculating, if you were to ask me who's responsible for the piece of the pie in New York, I would say it was probably 75% Harbaugh and 25% Sheen. Now, I don't know what it is in Niner land, but the way that Shanahan was in that interview, and I didn't want to break down all the clips because the interview was about 15 minutes long. You can check it out. It's with Rich Eisen on ESPN. Look it up. But a lot of his explanations is he's like, I tell all the position coach, give me 60 minutes of their highlight reel. And if I don't like their highlight reel, then I'm not going to look at any more footage. And then he goes, well, some people might have said that this guy was going to be a 6th or 7th round pick, but all it takes is one person to take him in the 1st round. So we took him in the 3rd. I mean, nothing that he said sounded like it was legit. And more importantly, none of it sounded like Lynch was the one doing it. It like if I were to guess of the pie for the Santa Clara 49ers, I would say that it's probably 66% Shanahan and 33% Lynch. That's pure speculation, but that's the way that it comes off. And when you have a draft like that, again, in the words of the kids, say less. Just say, look, we picked the best guys that we thought were in that spot. Don't say the guy was not invited to the combine and we thought maybe other teams would have him as a 7th round pick, but all it takes is one team to think that he could be a 3rd round pick. So we just took him with the 3rd round pick. I mean, again, just say less because it just seems like he's digging himself a deeper hole.
Yeah, it's rabbit ears, bunny ears. Stop listening to the media. Get that chip off of your shoulder, dude. It's been a decade here, and we've all caught on to your weaknesses. So just own them, get better, acknowledge them, address them, work on them, and then, integrate what you're good at and let this team advance and finally get a Super Bowl victory and be the team you can be. You've blown some of the best rosters in 49ers history and haven't gotten it done. And a lot of it is because you're a head case. Address it. Look in the mirror. Stop giving interviews to Eisen where you sound like a total amateur.
Art, what do you think? What do you think goes down in Kansas City? How much influence do you think Andy Reid has on their draft?
No idea. I don't try to pretend I have any idea. I think Andy Reid certainly gets players he likes. I'm sure. My guess is that the GM does all the picking, and Andy Reid has told him a whole lot of shit before all that. That's my guess. So I think influence, but I don't think he's choosing the players. I don't think he's. And I'm curious what you mean when you say you think Shanahan's doing X, Y, or Z and what percentage, because I certainly get and agree that coaches have a big amount of influence on how picks are made and things of that nature and where they want to address needs. But my gut tells me that there's a lot of good synergy in Kansas City. They have some agreements on the way they approach certain things, and then they seem to go do what they do. I think Andy Reid clearly had a big play in Mahomes. I'm sure he loved Mahomes. So I think in a decision that big where you're moving that much capital, yeah, I think there's probably a pretty good chance that Andy Reid or somebody else on that staff loves the hell out of that cornerback, that they traded up for. But I also think that just fell within their philosophy. I think that's like a organizational philosophy where they draft corners and feel good about it and knew they needed that in this draft. So yeah, I mean, I can't put a piece of the pie on it. I just think he has.
Well, let me give you the best example that I have. I think Brian Schottenheimer in Dallas has zero slice of the pie. Again, if we're going back to my pie reference, Jerry Jones and Jerry Jones's sons and all that stuff, they're the ones picking those players. So for instance, and I would think with Andy Reid, I think he probably lets his GM do his thing. For instance, when they traded up for Patty Mahomes, that's the offensive side. That's the quarterback, the most important position. Maybe he had a lot more influence on that. This past year, they traded up for the LSU DB. Maybe he had less influence on that. But I would say that the percentage is a little bit higher than most teams. It just seems like Kyle's got a lot more pull than I thought he did because John Lynch seems to be a pretty commanding GM. But everything that I hear when I read the tea leaves from the press conferences, it seems like John Lynch has a lot more less influence than Shanahan does.
Yeah, Zach, that's been established, dude. The answer to your question is Shanahan has final say about personnel. He has final say. That was established when he was hired, and he's the one who picked John Lynch. And John Lynch had to go through some kind of process for Shanahan to hire him. Then everyone who worked under those two had to go through some kind of like little test to see if they'd, snitch to the media and whatever backroom stuff they did back then. And it's Shanahan gets his guys. He has final say on everything. And I think at certain points in the draft, he's like, okay, Lynch, go ahead, do whatever you want. I'm done. I got my guys. I got my running back that I could have got as an undrafted free agent. I got my receiver that we don't need, especially that early. And so now Cook, John, your turn. I think that's kind of how it goes down. And I think that's been pretty much established through certain things I've read, but with the Kawakamis and the
you want to know what AI says?
Go ahead.
Head coach Kyle Shanahan has the final say over the San Francisco 49ers player personnel decisions and roster construction. While John Lynch holds the title of general manager and works closely with Shanahan, reports indicate that Shanahan operates with, quote, absolute total power regarding team roster decisions. Final decision maker in bold. Kyle Shanahan, as head coach, makes the final call on all roster choices.
Yeah,
Lynch's role. Lynch handles general manager responsibilities and works in collaboration with Shanahan, but is not the final authority. So that's what AI says. Whatever.
Wow. That's exactly what I just said. Pretty much.
I know. That's what
no, I know. I know. And well, I mean, flag on me for not knowing that was that overt. I mean, I covered the damn team and I didn't know that it was that overt. I mean, I always thought that it was Lynch as the GM and Shanahan as the coach. I didn't know that it was that obvious and that well known throughout the organization that Shanahan does what he pleases.
Yeah, I'm reading reports. Let me jump in, Jake. I'm reading reports over here because I just, Googled this while we were chatting, that Kyle Shanahan, and I don't know if this is like some sort of official type thing or people are just talking about it, but there's multiple links you can go on just from the last week or two that are talking about how not only does he have final say in roster personnel, but GM Lynch used to be sort of the face and voice of the Niners, and he's taken over that role. And so maybe that's why he just did that 15-minute interview, is he is now taking over the role of the voice of the 49ers too, which he had previously allowed Lynch to be. So now he is.
Yeah. He's coaching flag football on national TV in the Brady game. He was coaching a flag football team in that. Last year during the Super Bowl, he was out on camera for all these NFL network, pre-games and stuff, and he was throwing balls, breaking TVs at some bar that went viral.
He likes being the center of attention there.
Now he does. Yeah, exactly. So, hey, Kyle, feel free. You're welcome to just get out of the 49ers organization. Go get a TV job, brother. Go chop it up. You and Tomlin can sit together at the table and chop it up.
That's actually what you should do. Go get Mike Tomlin as head coach, and you bring Bieniemy in as OC, and the next thing you know, I shouldn't even say it because you know what'll happen then. Niners will be a fucking juggernaut. There'll be a dynasty, and it'll be over. So don't let that happen. Don't let Bieniemy go to the Niners.
I mean, the guy's been around a decade now as the Niners head coach, and that's the longest leash we've ever had for any head coach that didn't win the Super Bowl in 49ers history, or at least since Bill Walsh took over. So, dude, when's it end? When does it end?
From long leashes to short leashes. Is that a good transition?
I hear you. He got to 2, but yeah, I mean, Harbaugh probably had a better winning percentage. But anyways,
he turned the program around instantly.
One last Niner note, as you guys totally shat on my boy Lynch, and we're like, oh, he sounded soft when he was talking about Ayuk. So I just learned he got put on the left the team list, which I didn't even know was a thing. Mm-hmm. But basically, he can remain within the organization. He's tied. So he's tied to the organization, but his salary doesn't go against the cap. In other words, he doesn't get paid. And also his roster spot doesn't take up anything on the roster. So basically that's why Lynch is like, well, if you want him, then trade for him. Because otherwise his only 2 options are to show up or to just not get paid. But he's not going to be able to do whatever he wants. Anyways, that was just a little update that I saw from Schefter earlier today.
Yeah, I just want to say what up, JJ, John Joseph on the chat. Andy Crookston was popping. And thanks for tuning in to the Hum Daddies Present Heat Check.
Are you seeing that on the chat? It's not on my chat. Is it a new chat?
Yeah, those are new chats.
It's not on my shit. Anyway, okay. My last chat's from Danny, wonky Wisconsin Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there have been a few since then.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
All right, gentlemen. Well, I did some, I was just sitting on my couch and I was watching the Gigantes, and I realized that they have, they're up 4-1 right now. So it's not going to be totally relevant. Let's pretend like this game hasn't taken place yet, but they have played before tonight 35 games. And in 7 of those games, they scored 0 runs. In 5 of those games, they scored 1 run. In 4 of those games, they scored 2 runs. In 7 of those games, including the win last night, they've scored 3 runs. In 2 of those games, they've scored 4 runs, 5-2, 6-4, 7-2, 7+, 2. So I ask you, gentlemen, when you go into a baseball game, what is the general amount of runs that you need scored by your team in order for you to think that you have a solid chance of winning the game?
3.
And for the Giants,
you think? Hang on. And we're going to get to Artie's update on him coaching his girls a little bit later. And obviously that's different, coaching 10 and under girls softball. But you're telling me in a Major League Baseball game, if you're the manager, if you're the skipper, and you're in the clubhouse before the game, you're telling your offense, give me 3 and we're good?
No, 2 different questions, or at least the way I interpret it.
Give me how many runs?
Give me 5 or more runs is what I'm hoping for my offense every night. But I expect to win with 3. I expect my staff to let them no more than 2 runs on any given night if I'm a Major League Baseball team. You go,
especially if you have Ryan Walker.
That's unbelievable. So you have your starter. You have your starter going 7 innings, letting up 1 run,
please.
And then you're
nail it down. 3-1.
Either you're set up or
that's a perfect game. I love that type of game.
Come on, man, you don't believe that, man. Okay, can we at least say that you? Can we at least say that you?
3-1.
Can we at least say that you probably need 4 runs to win a game?
I mean, what are you asking me? Of course. I mean, the first question, if it's really how many do you want to feel like you're definitely going to win? Is that your question?
That you would feel comfortable. If I told you, if you're the manager of the team, I say, how many runs do you need before the game? I would say 4 to 5.
Yeah. But that's just that's not negotiable though. At that point, if you're just asking a very general question, yeah. I hear
all right.
you.
So the Giants out of 35 games, 5, 10, 15, 20, 23 out of 35 games, they've scored 3 or less runs. Now, even if you score 3, like you said, Art, then you're tied if you give up 3. You know what I mean? So, like, you need to – that's why I said 4 or 5. Anyways, the majority of their games, it's honestly, they should be happy that they've got the record that they have, even though they won last night. But guess how many runs they scored last night?
Three. Exactly. That's all you need.
And they got 3 tonight. Okay. All right. Anyways, a historically bad offense, gentlemen.
Yeah, they're not too fun to watch. A lot of these guys don't, we've talked about that. They don't play the way we want to watch them play. They got a few guys they're coming to life here and there. Gilbert's been good. He's jolted the team with some energy. I wonder what Vitello does there. I'll be surprised if he gives Bader his job back. I imagine Bader comes back as the fourth outfielder and mixes in, and maybe it allows Vitello to do a little bit more of what we talked about, where maybe he makes 4 outfielders all feel like starters, right? Maybe they're all playing quite a bit. I think I heard today that they got Schmidt taking some fly balls. So I don't know if they're trying to get him more versatility on the diamond to get out there more often. But I mean, Schmidt's been a little bit of a revelation. He's remaining consistent. Did he hit a bomb tonight?
Absolutely.
He hit
two runner.
He hit another bomb tonight. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking Giants, writing's on the wall, man. Unless they save their season somehow, this isn't a good ball club, man. This ball club lacks energy, it lacks heart, it lacks fight. It takes bad at bats, and so yeah, I don't love what I see whatsoever. Devers, I mean, it's now or never, right? I mean, either Devers.
What's wrong with Devers?
What do you mean? What's wrong? You got 515 OPS.
Yesterday he had 2 ribbies. Day before he had a run scoring double. Or day before he had an RBI double.
There you go.
Devers he's starting to be on the ball. All right. He's starting
now or never.
It's starting to come together. Go ahead.
So now or never for Mr. Rafael. We got to see if he can produce. I wonder if he can, because it's been a wild ride for him in San Francisco. But yeah, if you're telling me, am I buying stock in the Giants finishing 500 this year? The answer is no. I am not buying that stock. I am not buying a stock that will get me paid on the Giants winning 81 ball games this year.
You'd have great odds, bro. Great odds. I might buy it just for the odds.
You're not. We can't hear you, Zach.
Did you unplug your mic, Zach? You mute yourself?
No.
There you
hear
are.
me now?
We hear you.
There you are.
Oh, okay. All right. Just to jump in real quick before you go, Jake, because you're clearly defending your Devers because he's your precious chipmunk, as we like to call him, and he's on your fantasy team. ESPN did an article in the what is this? 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, the 1/5 point or 1/6 point or whatever. The Giants got a D-. They said, welcome to the major leagues, Tony Vitello. Having fun yet? The Giants haven't scored runs. They're last in the majors in home runs, walks, and stolen bases. They haven't been bad on offense. They haven't been this bad on offense since Johnny LeMaster, Rennie Stennett, and Mike Ivy patrolled the infield. President of Operations Buster Posey is discovering this job is a lot more difficult than calling pitches for Madison Bumgarner. Tyler Mahle and Adrian Hauser, his 2 rotation additions, are 1-7 with a 6.49 ERA, and Harrison Bader hit 115 before getting injured. But the biggest problem, Jake, are you listening? The biggest problem has been Rafael Devers, who is supposed to be the team's best hitter and looks completely lost at the plate. If the Giants continue to flail, it will be interesting to see if they make some of their key players available at the deadline. Anyway,
all right, so some dipshit clown wrote that on ESPN.com. So is that supposed to be the facts? Rafael Devers is the biggest problem.
It's
that sounds pretty subjective to me. If anyone watches these goddamn games, they can see that Devers he had some really bad numbers. Willie Adames has been a far greater problem, especially in the clutch. Matt Chapman, his numbers are better than Devers.
No problems. Those are the 3 big hitters, and none of them can hit.
Right, but I'm telling you, my darling chipmunk is coming around. Okay. And let's get to the main point. Yesterday, they brought up Bryce Eldridge and Jesus Rodriguez and my Mississippi mud country boy from the dirt, Trevor McDonald. Mike Donald, and he pitched his country ass off, made Mississippi proud yesterday, and that was just one hell of a game. So that's a hell of an addition to that starting staff. But now they say they want to use him in the bullpen. They just sent him down. I got to snap out of that voice. But I think they're trying to breathe new life into the team. Last night it worked, and tonight it seems to be working as well. So the season's so young. They have been one of the flattest teams I've ever seen in April. But there's still hope. I'm not going to completely say the season's over. I mean, there's so many goddamn games left. But I'm happy they're starting to change things around. They're keeping Casey Schmidt in there, and they didn't play Chapman yesterday, which is what I've wanted for a long time, because Schmidt can glove it, especially at third.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense to have him DH when he's one of the best gloves on the team. So I really liked that lineup last night, having Chapman out, having Devers at first. You get Gilbert in there. I think Bader might be toast. I don't know what they're going to do with him. He's still in the DL. He's coming off soon. But yeah, one of the main problems we haven't addressed, are we going to get to the closing situation? Because when you're only scoring a couple runs a game and you're bringing those leads into the ninth inning, you can't be blowing every goddamn save opportunity.
Well, that's a big combination fuck up there, right? That's Posey maybe more than Vitello, right? You went into the season with no goddamn closer, with a closer who blew it last year. You got an inexperienced manager. You're asking him to figure out something that feels pretty damn hard to figure out. I mean, you could argue there's an obvious maybe choice or two, but there is no obvious closer on this roster. So it's a really hard decision for Tony V, and that's a messy situation. And then they got money tied into, and it's not big money, but they got money tied into a couple of relatively garbage back-end starters. So are they going to dig their heels in and let a guy like Andrew Hauser keep going out there? Like, I don't want to watch him anymore.
Horrible signing.
More times I got to watch that guy. But
Hauser does not belong in the
I'm going to
base.
tune off every fifth day for damn sure. So, yeah, I mean, that's a bit of an issue, too. You just signed these two veterans that he ain't going to turn into Vogie. I tell you that much. You want him to be Vogie. That ain't Vogie. Yeah, Vogie went from 5 ERA to the Pirates to a goddamn stud on the Giants. Well, guess what? Hauser ain't going to do that. So, I don't know. There's some decisions to make there for this team. How do you manage bringing in all these guys? Everybody that gets paid on the Giants sucks. So if you got a contract with the Giants, you fucking suck. If you're on some rookie year deal or some shit like that, you might be able to play a little.
I agree, dude. I mean, that's kind of how the team's built. You got all these horse shit guys washed up. These assholes up there just whiffing at everything. Hey, you get a paycheck, you just lay down. It's all horse shit on the Giants.
If this podcast ever blew up and was getting like ridiculous amounts of views, you realize that awful announcing would pick you up and the headline would be art from E-Check. Anybody that's got a contract sucks. There's
true.
No chance they're hitting 500. I mean, it would be breaking article after breaking article. All right, I'm going to try to woo the listeners. I'm going to try to get the listeners to love themselves a little bit of Tony V. Here he is post game after a big W over the Fathers. The Friars, the Padres, that team in San Diego. Here he is talking about, I'm guessing, one of the few players
we're going to hear exactly what I want to hear, and I haven't heard this clip.
Horse shit.
As soon as that game was over, I kind of looked at him, and I'm trying to be more professional since I'm supposed to be a big leaguer. But I just wanted to run out there instead of shake hands with the other coaches and high-five him or whatever after that game, because it was a game. The best way I can say it, sum it up, is not a good road.
They got to hear it, because I was so goddamn excited when I saw this was the clip you're putting off. Start this damn thing from the start, because is that the whole point of why this clip is here, Zach? Please tell me it is, because Tony V is one of the most I can't even believe that's what he said. Is that why we're playing it, Bill?
Okay. No. First of all, I was going to play this to try to endear the listeners to Tony V. I think Jake sent it to me because it was a feel good. Hang on. Will you let me finish? I think Jake sent it to me as like a feel good audio clip. I was going to play it to try to endear the listeners. I was going to point out a key thing in there, which I think you're going to harp on here, but let's play it again. There's a part in there. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a part in there. There's a part in there that he shouldn't have said. Anyways, here we go. Here's Tony V after a win last night, gentlemen.
As soon as that game was over, I kind of looked at him, and I'm trying to be more professional since I'm supposed to be a big leaguer, but I just wanted to run out there instead of shake hands with the other coaches and high-five him or whatever after that game, because it was a game. The best way I can say it, sum it up, is not a good road trip. not a great start, not a great first month. I know a lot about this organization and the fan base, and there's a lot of fans that probably at this point have had too much frustration, more than they deserve, or too much heartbreak.
Thank you.
I feel like we're in debt to them a little bit. If anything, at least for Giants fans that have young people in their family, we had to have made up a little ground tonight. There's a little bit of a trade-off for some of those losses. Have your son or your nephew or your young player or a player you coach watch that game tonight. That is exactly how you want your son or your nephew or anyone you know or anyone you coach to play baseball, is the way he played baseball tonight.
I like that.
How many kids are watching that replay? How many kids are watching the replay of the Giants tomorrow?
Dude, no, he's talking about Arise. Okay? He gave props to Luis Arise. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, I can take
He
that.
sounds like a Make-A-Wish kid at the beginning, though. I mean, give me a break. I'm trying to be professional. I know I'm not. I know I'm in way over my head, but I just had to jump up and down with my guys
Hang on.
in game 35 of the season.
He said, as if he's not here, I know I'm supposed to be a big leaguer.
Artie, I gotta be honest with you. That stuck out to me. If you guys hadn't brought it up, I would have brought it up for sure. But I was hoping you were going to focus on if you have a nephew or you have a son or a daughter or whatever.
On that? I didn't watch the game. I missed the game. I was out there doing my thing on the softball field. No, I wasn't watching the Giants.
Which we'll get to later.
More to come on that later on Heat Check.
I don't need Tony V telling me to go watch his Giants on how to play baseball.
He's talking about Luis Arias.
Got it. Sorry, I keep forgetting
yes,
that.
Arias getting some love.
Luis Arias, and I will show my daughter. She's lefty. She should mimic that approach. He's one of the best hitters in ball. It's beautiful to watch her eyes. And yes, he's absolutely right. You should go show your son, go show your daughter, Luis Arias. It'll be a great moment. It'll maybe teach him something. Yeah.
Yeah, so I sent that to Zach,
but to your
thinking
point,
about the Luis Arias part. But the way it started, I just noticed it when you kind of brought it to my attention. I was like, "Oh my god, yikes!"
I mean,
all I heard,
gentlemen, I said this probably. I mean, we both did. I mean, all three of us did probably a month ago now. Stop referring to your collegiate career and that you were a college coach and that you're now in the majors. And stop saying, this is what I don't get, okay? Let's just pretend in some crazy world I am the skipper of the San Francisco Giants, okay? And I came from coaching Cal, and I'm coaching the Giants. And I have all these press conferences in spring training, mind you. Do you not think that Artie's not blowing up my phone the second that he hears that and goes, hey, Zach, what the bleep are you doing? Shut the bleep up about college. Stop referencing that you were a college coach. You're a major league coach now. Nobody cares about Cal. Nobody cares about what you did there. Act like a pro. Talk like a pro. That should have been done in fucking April and, February, March, April, whatever. All of that stuff should have been taken care of. And now we're now in May. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We're now in May, and the guy's still saying, I think I'm supposed to be acting more grown up because I'm supposed to act like a professional. Yeah, man, and stop saying that.
I just had a thought. Is part of the problem and is part of the reason that's driving some of his wacky decisions because he's so insecure? Does he not have the nuts to go tell Ryan Walker, I don't know what to tell you, you're not pitching late innings? Because the fact that he went back out there for the 8th the other night made no sense. The fact that fucking none of these guys that don't get a hit ever were trotting out there every day. All of a sudden, I'm starting to think, do you not have the nuts to go tell Matt Chappie, hey, you suck balls, go take a seat? You got to go get a hit, go get in the cages, figure out your goddamn swing, and you're going to get back out there. I'm sure he doesn't have the balls to do any of that.
I bet he's looking at those guys like, wow, these guys are Major League Baseball players. Yeah. I can't talk to Matt Chapman like that. He's had a 10-year career hitting home runs in a Major League Baseball park. Look, Ryan Walker's made Major League Baseball saves. Oh, my God. He's closed out Major League Baseball games. I can't say anything to Ryan Walker. He's a major leaguer. That's this dude's attitude in his head.
It's not that. No, it's not that drastic.
That's the voice in his head, dude. I guarantee it.
100%. Tony Vitello's watching. He's not managing. He's like my son who's struggling in flag football. My son's struggling in flag football because he has just as much fun watching as playing. He has so much goddamn fun that he has to remind himself, oh, shit, I got responsibility on this play. Tony V's out here just like, oh, shit, I'm on fucking the field with these guys.
Fantasy camp. It's like fantasy camp for him.
And speaking of which, yeah, I'm all about giving guys a long leash. I'd have no problem if you can his ass tomorrow. I'm done with it.
Me neither. Honestly, like that, he sounds so out of his league, dude. By the way, guys, breaking news. The Giants are up 4-1, and now it's 6-4 Padres. Guess who's on the hill for the Giants?
Fucking
Logan Webb.
Yeah,
Logan Webb.
The guy, I can't believe I picked that idiot. I'm sorry. I know we're not supposed to talk fantasy goddamn sports. I was like, at least you could have just one. I'm like you, but me and Jake live in the same world on Logan Webb. We think he's overrated. We know he's good, but we don't trust that guy as our one. We don't see him as a 1A, and we don't see him as I'm going to go shove it up your ass when we need to, right? I would just went with some safe little fantasy pick. I was, I don't know what the hell's going on. I said, yeah, this seems easy. Logan Webb's going to have a good year. He always does. The guy gets shelled every other. Why are his numbers even decent? Every time you look up, he's giving up 4 or 5 runs.
What I've noticed his whole, maybe not his entire career. Yeah, basically his
I know
entire
he had
career.
a good start his last start. Yeah, if that's what you're thinking, if you listen. I don't give a goddamn.
Yeah, but so this is the pattern Logan Webb has. The Giants need like a big offensive game. They have one. And then Logan Webb has one of his worst games when they most need him to be a shutdown stopper. He is not even close to a stopper. He never has been.
You've been saying that for a couple of years.
Yes. And it just happened again right in front of our eyes as we speak.
Now. This is ruining a season type shit. You can't do that.
No, they were up 4-1. They're finally scoring 4 runs, Zach. As you said, 4 runs. Motherfucker gives up 5 runs in the what? The third? The fourth?
At least he's going to be hard on himself because 3 weeks ago he was embarrassed. I remember watching his post game and he said, I don't know what to say, but all I know is I'm not helping this team. I'm hurting this team. And,
top 4. Here's a 5 spot, Pods. Top 4. Here's 5.
Yeah, ask Tony V how many you need. Give me 10. Then we got a goddamn shot.
Unbelievable.
Well, let's see if your fucking guy, Rafi Devers, gets a big hit.
Hey, he just might. At least he's getting RBIs and runs, dude. No one else is doing anything. Whatever.
All right. Do we want to talk a little bit? We want to talk a little first place A's?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's hear your A's talk. I need to get my mind off the goddamn Giants. It's enough to make someone like lose their mind, dude.
I'm sure he's going to talk about Nick Kurtz and a bunch of walks, I'm guessing. Because I know he likes to walk.
What are walks? Giants, I've never heard of them.
I got hit up on Twitter and they're like, dude, you're just a shill now. You're talking to the Giants. Where's the A's talk? I'm like, well, they are in Sacramento. By the way,
the goddamn A's hat. I want you talking A's, and I'm down to talk A's. I pay attention to the A's. I know what's going on with the A's. I don't pay as close attention to the Giants, but I'm down to bring the A's onto this cast for damn sure.
If we could switch rosters and have this Giants team leave the Bay Area and put the A's in Giants gear, that would be a dream come true.
Yeah. I like the green and yellow though. We all like the green and gold, baby.
Well, anyway,
yeah, I know, but I had to, I had to match. Anyways, no, in that same ESPN article, the A's got a B, which I thought was a little bit low, but to Art's point, and yes, it's because his cousin Hamid that we're on a text thread always talks about Nick Kurtz and his walking. He said, let's get into some early season nerdy stats. Nick Kurtz has walked 22.8% of the time so far in 2026. That would be the highest walk rate since Barry Bonds, who had the highest walk rates of all time, last played in 2007. He said, meanwhile, Jacob Wilson's 2.2% walk rate would be the 6th lowest since the 2008 season. The A's are a team of extremes in many ways, from great starts, Shea Langoliers and Carlos Cortez, to lousy ones, Lawrence Butler and Brent Rooker. But the question through 5 weeks is the same as it was 5 weeks ago. Is there enough pitching to keep the A's in the playoff race? I'm not sure that there is, but their division might just be that awful. Seattle got off to a very slow start. They'll probably turn it around. They have the highest run differential in the league. But the Rangers don't seem to be that good. The Astros look terrible, and the Angels are just who the Angels are. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of good starts out of a lot of the young guys. And the most exciting thing about the A's is that they've locked down a lot of these guys that they usually let walk to the Red Sox or the
Who they locked
Yankees
in?
or whoever the hell else.
Who's locked
I
in?
think everybody but Kurtz is locked down. So I think
Oh,
Butler's locked down. Langoliers is locked down. Rooker is locked down, I believe. Don't quote me
I
on
think
all this,
so.
but I believe everybody.
Kurtz
But
is the
and
big piece. Kurtz is
it's
the big
because
piece.
Kurtz. Well, it's because Kurtz has that prick of an agent.
Who, Boris?
Yeah, Boris. He's got Boris as an agent, so
Sorry.
he probably won't be locked down.
Ace
That'll probably be
Cashier's
the
not
one
getting
guy
enough
that we.
love, man. That guy can hit.
Oh yeah,
He should
he's
be-
great.
he
No,
should be
he's got
talking about
he
more.
gets a ton of love. Yeah, he gets a decent enough love. But yeah, I mean, they're young and exciting. I mean, not kind of the opposite, not really the opposite of the Giants. I think the Giants are like guys that are supposed to be in their prime. They're just not performing like they're in their prime. The A's are still really young, and their pitching staff is garbanzo beans. But yeah, I mean, and our offensive stats are not even, necessarily like through the roof in terms of us hitting the cover off the ball. Just, I mean, but you guys are just so putrid. Like when I looked at that, I'm telling you, if you have 5, 10, 15, 23 of your games where you're pretty much putting your team in a position where the pitching staff needs to let up 2 runs or fewer for you to win, you're not going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, that's because the Giants don't take pitches. They don't walk. Their last in walks. At least under Farhan, they would walk. It was guys who struck out and walked. Now it's just strike out, weak contact, swing at the first pitch every time. It's just they have no approach. It's exhausting. I don't know. I'm burnt out on it. What are you going to do? End the season now.
Yeah, I know. Are you still doing your daily post games?
Not. I mean, I can't every day. I've done a few. I mean, we're podcasting a lot. I'll just rip clips. The Giants just really depressed me, man. That was a bad inning, Logan. I'm down.
I mean, Giants, let's be honest, man. The Giants are the type of team that you just label it. I mean, they used to be boring because you didn't know who they are. Now they're boring because they're boring. They're a boring team. It's really boring to watch baseball of people who don't walk, who don't run, who don't hit. Like, that's boring.
They must have the shortest average time per game, because when those games where they no-show, I call the no-show Giants, is 1 hour and 58 minutes of nothing. Just nothing.
It really is a pretty boring team, man. We've all seen the stats. They're last in everything, so that's pretty obvious. But
except for average, they like sprinkle hits out here and there when there's no one on base. It's so.
Jake's right. You guys are 15. You guys are 15th in the league at 242 batting average. The A's are 7th at 252. So that's not even a huge difference. But when you look at the other numbers, well, yeah. I mean, when you look at the when you look at the runs scored, you look at the RBIs, you look at the home runs, that's when it starts to get, really bad. I believe RBIs, yeah, you guys are last with 104. The Mets are second to last with 115. And then
aren't we like last
the
in
Braves
OPS too? So we don't walk, we don't hit for power, and we don't have speed. Like
OPS,
like
you're second. Yeah, you're second to last. You're 645 in OPS. Mets are the only one worse at 629. I mean, runs scored, which is the most.
They can't rebound and they can't shoot. It's like you got to figure out something you can do. Hold on. Something.
Again, to go back to what we talked about before the season started, or really even early on in the season, this is a lineup that this should be. If put it like this, on paper,
they're all overrated. They're all overrated on paper.
Okay, well that's fine.
Never.
If that doesn't mean shit, that's fine. What I'm telling you is, your even-numbered teams that won the World Series would have given their left leg to have this offense.
No, they
on
wouldn't
paper.
have. These guys can't do shit.
On paper. No? All right. You guys want to move on?
I get it. On paper, they're all right, but on paper, they're all swing and miss guys, too. Matt Chapman and Willie Adames are who they are. Like, they are who they are, who they are, who they are. They're deep in their career. They miss baseballs a lot. And they're streaky hitters.
Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, and I'll tell you, Devers, all three of them, like Art said, have probably just kind of checked out a little after a giant contract. You're not trying to hustle as hard as you used to.
It's like fundamental shit. He's flying open. Go watch
His mechanics are off.
That's
Yeah.
the shit you hear like as a kid, man. The guy's flying open. Go look at his front shoulder whenever.
No, and to your point, no, Devers isn't walking nearly as much as he used to. He used to not be the guy who never walks. He used to actually have a really good eye. That's not happening anymore.
And he was a professional hitter. I mean, not like a eyes at all, but like just a guy that could hit.
Just a stud. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, hopefully,
Give me Billy Miller.
Hopefully, better days ahead.
You and Dave G love Bill Miller.
Oh God, I know.
God loved Bill Miller.
Oh, there you go.
I believe it. All right,
Woody
all right,
knows
gentlemen.
what to do.
Give me Woody.
Let's get to a little segment we like to call Heat Check. That's the name of the show. Also the name of a segment. It's where we go icy, mid, or on fire. Let's just start with what everybody was doing on Saturday, which was watching the Kentucky Derby. I'm sure all of you guys soaked in all 3 minutes of it. I actually did watch the race and it was pretty incredible. But are you icy, mid, or on fire? I'm going to go mid. It was a great race. It was a historic race as it was the first woman trainer to ever win the Kentucky Derby. I believe the horse that ran started at 30-1 and finished at 23-1. So if you put your loot on him, that's fantastic. It was also, I'm not going to pretend like I watch any other horse race. Actually, back when the Albany, whatever
Golden Gate Fields.
Golden Gate Fields, when that was open, that used to be me and my mom's. That's what we would do on Mother's Day. We would go to the Golden, we'd go down there and then we'd watch a bunch of races and, win some money, lose some money, have some dollar hot dogs and beers or whatever. Anyways, so I have seen races outside of the Kentucky Derby, but I'm not pretending like I'm a horse racing guy. But I will tell you this, it was an exciting couple of minutes because this dude, I don't know how many, like, I don't know if they do it like they do, like in NASCAR, like how many car lengths you are behind. Anyways, this mother bleeper, Golden Tempo, came from the cuts. This guy was in like either last or second to last. You did not think this guy was winning, and I didn't bet on it, thankfully, because I would have bet on somebody else. But man, it was riveting stuff. So I'm going to go mid to closer to on fire than mid. I'm going to go in between mid and on fire about it. Congratulations to Golden Tempo, and shout out to, I believe her name is, I never know whether or not to say Sherry or Cherry. I believe it's Sherry Duval. As the first female trainer to ever win the Kentucky Derby. So did you boys watch it? I'm guessing you guys are both going to be icy on it.
I'm sure it's Sherry. I doubt her name is Cherry.
I also love how you've never known. Like,
you never know.
Sometimes it's Cherry. No, you guys are wrong. Sometimes
at a strip club, it's Cherry. Where the hell is there a Cherry?
There are non-strippers named Cherry, pal. Okay.
Where? Name them.
First of all, it's CH. That's cherry.
No,
that's not.
That's a spelling of sherry, bro. It's French. You ever hear of France?
You're going to bring up the first female trainer. Next time, you're going to hit the old Google pronunciation enunciation.
I nailed it. I nailed it. I just said that I didn't know which one it was.
Hey, here, I want to give props to the first female trainer to ever win. What up, Cherry? How you doing, girl?
Cherry. Yeah, girl.
I'm ice cold on it. Didn't watch it. I have watched the Kentucky Derby in the past. It's a lot of fun. It lasts 2 minutes. My sister was there with Jack McKnight.
What?
And yeah,
wait,
they got flown out, stayed in Kentucky, wore the hats and the big dresses. And
wow.
all that
shit. Is that on the gram?
Yeah, that was dope.
Now I got to jump in because I was going to say I was icy on it, but on fire for young Say Lou and Jack McKnight.
That's amazing.
They were. Say Lou was looking beautiful. Jack was all in his nice suit. She had her little cool whatever, like you're talking about, the Kentucky Derby hats. Yeah. It was looking great. So, yeah, shout out to them because they were out there on the gram doing their thizzle at the Derby.
Yeah, she had a nice mint julep, it appeared to be, in her cocktail cup. And she was out there just living a life like a proper Southern lady. And what up, Jakari? Jakari's on the chat. He says it's the first time he's checking us out live.
Mr. Mayweather?
That's right. Jakari Mayweather. That's right. JJ's keeping the chat popping. What up, everybody we see out there?
Chat been working, man. Zach logging on and off or something did something to my chat, I think. Or something like that.
Yeah. Zach probably
Yeah, blame everything on me. Blame everything on the kid.
yeah,
That's how we roll.
We had some audit. Hey, your camera's looking great right now, though, Zach. I want to give you props. I want to thank you for that. But yeah, I'm ice cold on the Derby, hot on Sarah, on fire for Sarah and Jack McKnight,
Absolutely.
two of the finest to ever do it in Carmichael, California. Jack had a client and said, "Hey, go to the Derby." Also, my boy Armand, who is an actor, he lives in Sacramento. I've acted with him in a couple gigs. He does announcing at the Derby, like on the Jumbotron. He's one of the main announcer dudes. So what up, Armand? But yeah,
Nice.
other than that, it's
no
the
problem.
Derby.
Yeah,
Art,
if you're watching
sounds
the
like
Derby,
you,
you're kidding yourself.
Come on, man. It's 4 minutes. You can't be bothered for 4 minutes.
Imagine picking your Saturday around that 4 minutes.
Hang on. You're not. Hang on. Artie, let's say that you didn't plan your Saturday around those 4 minutes. Let's say that you were doing yard work outside, set your timer for what time the race was going to start, go back in and watch. It's 4 minutes, pal.
I'm digging that hole.
Okay.
Dig a hole.
It's 4 minutes, man. You don't go to the bathroom?
I'll tell you this. I was at a baby shower during this for my wife's cousin, and it was on the screen, and I didn't watch it. There was a group of people that turned to watch it. My son loved it. Levi loved it. Levi was on fire.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait till he gets older so he can become my best friend and not you.
He watched it.
Right.
He enjoyed it.
All right, let's move on.
Hold on. Quick shout out to what you're talking about. Golden Gate Field's dollar days were amazing. That's an empty lot right now. I mean,
so
it's still
good. I know.
The bones of that place are still there. Why don't you turn it into like a minor league baseball park or something?
Well, they were talking about, they were in one of the 9,000 different iterations that they had of the new A's ballpark. That was going to be one of them, but they decided that traffic would just be ridiculous right there. Yeah, that's at the bottom of the hill from me, so I know exactly why.
Oh, dude, it's bad just during rush hour with like Gilman and stuff right there. But I would be devastated. They say they're going to turn it into more housing. Like, we don't need a bunch of high rises all over Berkeley and Albany, guys. Come on, make it something cool for the love of God.
Please, I'm with you. Yeah. All right, let's move on to heat check number 2. Are you icy mid or on fire about Stephon Diggs being acquitted of all assault charges? Now, I dug a little bit too deep into this than I needed to. I guess the reason why I'm on fire about it, first of all, there's been a lot of gender hating on both sides when it came to Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion's breakup, where like I saw it on both sides. Women like completely shitting on Klay for being a cheater and being a dog and being a horrible man or whatever. And then men being horrible to women saying Klay's got a bunch of money. He can date whoever he wants. Why would he wife her up? She was tripping for thinking that in the first place. Just a bunch of vitriol both ways on the gender side. And in this instance, I hate to be on the side of the male because it's going to make me look like a chauvinist, and I'm not trying to be, but I dug very deep into it, and it's very clear that Diggs did not do what he was accused of doing, which is why I think he was acquitted of it. Not that all people that get acquitted are innocent. Look at O.J. Simpson. However, my point is this is like the reason why I'm hot on it is 2 reasons. Number one, it's, I think, a victory for the athlete or the celebrity or whoever is the famous rich person that gets accused of something that they didn't do because somebody's looking for money. And then number 2, where does Diggs go? Because the Patriots released him. I don't know how much of it had to do with the money or him not being as productive as he used to be when he was with Buffalo and Houston or whatever. But if you're a Chiefs fan or a Niners fan or a Dolphins fan, would you want Diggs on your team after him being acquitted?
What you want me to? I'm definitely. If you want me to answer that question, I don't have any idea. Am I supposed to go mid, low? If we're going mid on fire, I'm certainly not mid on fire. Icy on mid. I don't even know anything about his case to tell you there's no way I'm mid, icy, or on fire on this. I'll tell you, and I don't have I don't know
you're icy.
What am I supposed to be?
Well, then you're icy.
Okay, yeah. I certainly didn't go digging to understand Stephon Diggs' case, and so I'm definitely not going to have an opinion.
You got to read the transcripts, Art. You got to really dive into those bad boys. Look at the court documents.
Forget about the court case. Forget about the court case.
I don't want to get into that because that's like we could do a whole podcast on that, right? Like I'm not going to do like a 30-second answer on should your team have people who do X, Y, or Z. If you didn't do anything, well, then of course have them. I'll tell you this. Here's a better answer. The Chiefs would love to have them. Because we know the Chiefs have shown you.
Just answer that part of it. Okay.
Because the Chiefs, well, no, I'm saying specifically, and I'm laughing at the Chiefs. The Chiefs have shown you that they'll take a player who's doing some things. They say,
Convicted
yo,
felons step up.
Specifically,
no problem. You know, they're not too
specifically,
worried about it. I'm surprised the Chiefs didn't go hunt for Ray Rice. And
I'm
say,
surprised Greg Hardy isn't their GM at this point.
The Chiefs should have signed Ray Rice for sure. No, I mean, my point,
specifically in the wide receiver room.
I joke, but it's like, yeah. So if you're asking, would the Chiefs? Yeah, the Chiefs are definitely the type of organization that would bring in Diggs. But I'm not touching this one because I don't know enough about the story. I don't know enough about what he did or didn't do, and so I'm not touching this one.
I heard Ray Caruth works for the Chiefs now. Have you heard about that?
Too far.
Is he in jail?
Too far.
I don't know. I don't
Life
know.
for murder or something? Is that what he did? He put someone in the car, or he was in the back?
He definitely murdered a pregnant wife or something.
He tried to murder a pregnant wife.
Or
The
tried
woman,
to? Yeah, attempted.
No, the woman died. The son lived and ended up being
Awful.
mentally disabled, but forgave him. He got out after probably 30 years. How long ago was that? It was like the 90s, right?
That was the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so probably 30. He got out 30 years later, and he's got a great relationship with his son. His son, I don't know if his son is all there to be able to know what he's forgiving, but his son forgave him and has a relationship with him. Anyways, too far.
Story about
Jake,
that. No,
far.
these are fascinating human interest stories. The human condition is very appealing.
Sure.
Mike Evans, I'll touch on real quick, has that crazy story as well, where his mom's brother killed his dad, but he ended up forgiving his uncle, his mom's brother, and went to visit him in prison, and they became close too, even though he killed his father. So there's a lot of heavy stories out there. Yeah, you should look into that.
Hang on. Mike Evans' uncle killed his grandpa?
No, killed his dad.
Killed his dad.
His brother. The uncle killed his own brother-in-law.
Why?
Just because I think he was supposedly abusing the mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so
okay.
Mike Evans, a new Niner, has a pretty crazy, heavy personal story.
Yeah, he just
he's been really open about.
A new interview, right? Or was that an old read?
No, I saw that years ago. He talked about it years ago.
Recently, then maybe because I saw it recently. I heard him talking about it just recently.
Yeah, I saw it on Real Sports maybe like 7 years ago. But anyway, okay. Yeah, I'm cold on Cardi B or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Cardi B. Stephon Diggs. That was his ex, though. That was his ex. All right. Finally, as it's clear, we need to get to the NBA playoffs. The Orlando Magic fire coach Jamal Mosley. Now, the only reason why I'm on fire about this.
Never mind. Continue.
The only reason why I'm on fire about this is because his team had been banged up over the. I think he coached them for 5 seasons. His team had been banged up for like the past couple of years. Despite all of that, he was able to take them to 3 consecutive playoff appearances, the most that Orlando had reached the postseason 6 straight years from 2007 and 2012. But since then, that was the most. So that's what? We're in 14 years ago. And 47 wins in 2024 were the most by the franchise in any season since 2011. Again, this goes back probably to like the Dwight Howard days or whatever. He led him to 2 division titles, 3 consecutive winning seasons. And again, his team was banged up. And look, I know they blew a 3-1 lead, which is the main reason probably why he lost his job. Had they lost that, like if it had been 2-2 after 4 and then 3-2 after 5 and they lost 4-2 and 6, probably he would have kept his job. But I just don't think you can point to him being the reason why they lied. And I'm not normally fired up about Orlando Magic basketball. I could give 2 bleeps, but in this instance, I thought it was an unjust firing. And I would point to Paolo Banchero as the guy that was basically like, yeah, this is not good enough. He kind of threw his coach under the bus.
I guess I'm mid on it. I agree with you wholeheartedly that the leash was not nearly long enough for this program that got totally turned around and made a nice run in the playoffs for the quality of team they are. But that's been the trend in the NBA. Guys are just getting fired left and right, man. I mean,
it's becoming hockey, Jake. It's becoming hockey. Guys are getting churned out so frequently.
Yeah. So it wasn't just, it's the new trend in the NBA. So I guess it makes sense because it's not like this has never happened before. It's happening all the time for the last few years. But I'm mid about it. I mean, the Magic are kind of a middling team. They have a lot of potential. I like, man, I thought Desmond Bane was going to turn it on a little more. He kind of choked there towards the last couple of games. But they're a fun squad to watch. Who did you mention who's going to be the next coach?
I don't think they've named anybody
They
yet.
haven't. No rumors or anything.
No, not that I've seen.
So I don't know. I mean, I thought the dude did a good job and they were on the right track. So it's.
I mean, what do you guys think about guys like Banchero? Right, like you draft.
Isn't it Boncaro?
Boncaro, sorry, I don't know.
Yeah. You guys both said Banchero.
Isn't like what do you do when you draft a guy of his skill level,
number
and
one,
then max him out? Because I mean, we know he's not a max.
What are you getting at, bud?
He's not a max player. We all know that. I mean, he's not even close to a max player. He's nowhere close. He's nowhere close.
I'd push back on that.
So, I mean, the guy, well, then you answer my question. You'd pay him and be happy. I personally think you're in quite a conundrum when you draft someone that good, because I think you've done your job as an organization. You've drafted a guy who's very good at basketball, and now you're in this shitty position where it's like somebody's about to pay this guy max, I guess. But no, I don't think your franchise is in good shape if you're paying $240 million over 5 years for Paulo Banchero or whatever. Apologies for not knowing your last name, my man. And then like Desmond Bane's probably getting like 40 mil, huh? Like, is Desmond Bain getting some big money? Like, these guys are losers ultimately.
I would say
a win with Banchero and Bain as your two. Give me a break. So you're in a bad position. You got a couple studs. I hate talking about money. They're good ball players, but you can't win.
You got Franz Wagner there too, bro.
Well, he was the one that was banged up, which is why they probably he missed the last either 2 or 3 games.
240 to
hang on, not to relate this to football. I think that you have a much bigger decision when you're talking about a franchise quarterback. Whereas the Dolphins paid Tua, clearly they regret that, as they're going to be paying him $100 million over the next year to play for the Falcons. The Niners cashed out Purdy. That looks like a lot better of a investment, as he's gotten them to the playoffs and gotten to them to the Super Bowl. But I think you're in a much bigger conundrum when you're talking about a franchise NFL quarterback than when you're talking about a basketball player like that.
They're doing it wrong.
Paulo deserves the money.
I think they're doing it wrong in the NFL, and it's not a hard decision. Of course, you don't pay two of that kind of money. It's just a bad organizational decision, and you actually go let another team. I go trust if I'm an NFL organization, I pay quarterbacks that I fully have bought into that money. And if I'm not fully bought in, I'm definitely putting my money elsewhere. And
what you're saying is that you're not bought in, you're not fully bought into Paulo? Because I am.
I'm saying Paulo's not a 1A, not even close.
I think he is.
No, what do you mean? Then he's the worst 1A in the league.
Well, he's not in the upper echelon of 1As, but how many 1As are there?
That's sort of my point. And it sucks that you got to pay everybody 1A money. And that's why I said it's a conundrum. It put orgs in a sticky position. That was really my point. Is I think it sucks when that happens.
But I don't think it's sticky with him. I don't think it's sticky with him. I think it's more sticky.
You like him a little more than me. That's
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
But I also, my point, it's just a sticky place to be when you draft someone that's really good. And you're like, well, now what?
But my point is a less sticky situation, in my opinion, than the Dolphins having to decide whether or not they're going to pay Tua, or the Niners having to decide whether or not.
They shouldn't have paid him. Don't you think? I don't even know that that's hindsight. His skill set wasn't good enough to command that much money.
Not hindsight. I think that the majority of the population would have said not to pay Tua. So it's not a hindsight situation, but it was a difficult situation for them. Where they're like, well, what are we going to do? We drafted this guy 3rd or 4th overall, whatever it was. He's brought us to the playoffs where they got their ass whipped by the Chiefs when I left your ass in Brentwood, because I couldn't stand watching their ass get beat in the freaking cold, because fucking Tua's record is like 1 in a billion against teams over 500, and when they play any game below freaking 35 degrees. Anyways, I think you're in a much bigger conundrum there. I think in the instance of the Orlando Magic and Paolo, 100% you max that guy out. I think the Warriors would be thrilled to have him as their number 2 alongside Steph, versus wherever else they're allocating their money. I would take him over Jimmy Butler right now. Sorry, Jay.
He's a number, but you just put him next to Steph. In Orlando, he is Steph.
No, he's not. Franz Wagner's Steph, I think. I think he's their number 1 when he's healthy. Anyway, Sick Netherlands soccer jersey says, call him like I see him. Thank you, sir. We got John Joseph just giving us a lot of high quality, nice raunchy comments.
Bro, I thought you were wearing like a Juan's Place jersey. I thought you were wearing a softball jersey, and I thought that was black duct tape. like masking tape.
It
That's
does
great.
kind of look like
It's
gaffer's
sick.
tape or something.
Now it's sick. I'm not even saying
right.
that hater. I'm more I was making fun of myself.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
like
saying this whole time I've been trying to guess what you were wearing in my head. And I was like, okay, the Netherlands. I need to go get my Mohammedpur jersey.
Dan from Hercules says Magic, no, they can't lure big-time free agents. Every star they've ever had bounced. NBA overexpanded to towns that no one wants to play in. So,
Danny, you love the NBA.
Danny's a huge NBA guy. Everyone knows it.
NBA guy. All right, so you guys got any more? I mean, I didn't mean to like force that into the thing. I just saw it and I was like, really, you're going to blame Mosley for that?
No,
I mean,
I love it. NBA talk right now is great, man. The NBA playoffs have been huge.
The NBA.
They've been
All
a
right,
really
well,
good.
The Lakers getting their ass whooped? Did they finish getting their ass whooped?
I don't know. But that moves us to the Western Conference NBA playoffs.
There we
Which
go.
series surprised you the most? My pathetic Suns did not make a whimper or even a sound as they got swept by the Thunder. I didn't. Are you guys checking the? You checking
got
the
it.
NBA score?
I'm with you though. Keep going.
I got it. I got the
Did
scores.
Okay, yeah. Thunder beat the Lakers by 18. So which one surprised you the most? I'm guessing the Thunder sweeping the Suns did not. Spurs handled the Blazers pretty easily. Pretty funny because the Blazers actually took one in San Antonio when they had Wemby, and then lost the game when the Spurs didn't have Wemby. Then Wemby came back. I believe they beat him in 5. The Wolves shocked the Nuggets. That would, if I'm picking out of those 4 series, well, maybe the Lakers. The Lakers topped the Rockets without having AR for half the series and not having Luka.
KD didn't play. So.
Well, the Rockets didn't have KD for all but one game. I'll still take the Wolves without Ant-Man and without Dante DiVincenzo beating the Nuggets and what looks like a very disgruntled loaf of bread, as I like to call him, Niko Djokovic. And that would be the series that I pick as the most surprising. But what do you guys make from what came out of the West?
You know, I love my Wolves. They didn't have Io either, the kind of up-and-coming star.
And another guy, a fourth guy, or one of their other key pieces.
Yeah, I mean, they're down to nothing. It was the Jaden McDaniels show in that last game, man.
Backed up his shit talk.
Yeah, he backed it. That fool was shut down on Murray. Fun to watch. And Gobert shut down Jokic.
I mean, I gotta say, they got a good shot against San Antonio because they got 2 defenders that Wemby's going to have a lot of trouble with, and they showed it in game 1 because they got Gobert, and then they got one of the more underrated players in the NBA, Mr. Julius Randle, and Julius Randle was locking him up in the second half, and Julius Randle's out there grinding. They got Mike Conley, the pure veteran point guard, opposite.
Hitting some huge shots.
Right? Houston got no point guard. Conley's someone that I trust with the basketball more than just about anybody in the NBA. I fucking love that guy. And then you got freaking Ant Edwards, right? You got the
He's back. He's back early.
Played unbelievable, man. It's so on brand for Ant Edwards to show up for game 1 of that series. God bless them. This is 2 teams I like. I'm not going to be mad at whoever wins the series.
Hang on. I gotta cut you off. I gotta cut you off. I gotta cut you off. Are you seriously going to sit here and look me in the face on our podcast and tell me that you like the Spurs?
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't like Wemby, Castle, and Harper? I'm sure most people like Wemby, Castle, and Harper. Hell of a trio. You don't like those 3? I'm talking about just watching basketball. I'm not saying I'm a Spurs fan. I'm just saying of the remaining teams. Yeah, I like the Spurs quite a bit. Am I crazy? Jake, in that vein, do you like the way they play?
I remember on this very podcast me saying they were an actual contender for and Zach doubted me. He was like, "What? Spurs aren't serious."
You picked, I want to say.
Yeah, I said they could win it all.
I think the question was other than OKC, and I think you went Spurs.
And this was in January or February.
Yeah, and I went Houston like an idiot, even though I knew they didn't have a point guard. What the hell am I thinking? I think I said that.
And the Timberwolves have been my favorite second team for the last few years, and I didn't think they'd be as good as they are. Like,
can I time out? Is he just doing this because of the Spurs beating the Suns 20 years ago?
Yes.
Oh.
He holds a grudge against
those Spurs. I
Spurs.
like them too. Speak of it. I like Duncan Ginobili and Tony Parker as well. So whichever iteration, I do like them. I also like Amari, Marion, and Nash. Those were great teams.
Everyone knows Art likes every single NBA team.
Give me a roster, and I'm going to tell you how much I like them. And then you pick the one, and you tell me you loved it. I do not love Desmond Bain and Banchero. Okay, I do not love them. They can go
Italian. Why'd you make them Italian?
Art loves every Art loves every
Italian.
5 and 6 seed from the playoffs over the last number of years more than he loved the KD Warriors, like by far.
Anyways, the Spurs make me sick. For anybody out there watching, if you're not from San Antonio and you like the Spurs, I can only give Ashkan Daveron, Artie's brother, a pass because he liked Manu, because they both had quirky ways of playing basketball. But any non-San Antonio resident and anybody not named Ashkan Daveron that likes the bleeping Spurs needs to get head checked. First of all, they got David Robinson with the #1 pick. Tanked their tail off and faked an injury for David so they could get Tim Duncan. Ran that into 4 titles, including which Donaghy, who went to prison for fixing games, was fixing Spurs Suns games. Then they somehow get Wemby with the #1 pick when several other teams had better percentage chances of getting Wemby. Bleep the Spurs, bleep everybody that likes the Spurs and anybody that's a part of the Spurs. How about that?
Yeah.
I hope they get swept by Jake's Wolves.
I was really wishing that they would have beat the Miami Heat when Ray Allen hit that shot. That was a sad day.
That was great.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate.
Champagne coming out. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to reiterate how fun this iteration of the Wolves, how fun they are to watch.
Yeah.
This team is so stacked with athletes and, bucket getters. Just so many of those guys are just, they drive to the basket. They just hit the lane hard. They hit the hole hard. They rebound. They play D. They're long. They're fast. They're such a fun goddamn team to watch, man. So I'm really rooting for the Wolves. I know, they've been my second team, as I say all the time, but I'm paying attention to every single possession of every Wolves game.
None of these teams even resemble the Warriors, and that's when you start thinking about how far off the Warriors are.
Suns kind of did, but they beat the Warriors by 30 points.
The only reason we think we have a chance as Warriors fans is because of Steph Curry, and it's a joke. Like the fact that the Warriors don't look like any good team. None of these guys, these rosters are filled with fucking stars, man, everywhere. These guys are running all over the place. They're shooting the ball. They're defending at a high level. Man, we are far away from the best teams. We can compete with them on any given night because of motherfucking Steph Curry, man.
I think Io would be the #2 on the Dubs. He's like, when everyone's healthy on the Wolves, he's the #7, which it shows you how down and out the Warriors are right now with the people around Steph.
Again, I'll just remind you that with a healthy Steph and a healthy Jimmy Butler, which is a big if because they're both old as dirt, they upset the Rockets, which is funny that it was an upset, but they beat the Rockets in the first round, and then who knows where they could have gone after that. All right, real quickly here, before we wrap up the Western Conference playoffs, a quote from Minnesota coach Chris Finch, quote, at least 4 of them were goaltending, talking about Wemby shots that he blocked, maybe even a 5th. To me, it's a little alarming that none of them were called. The Timberwolves were still glowing in the aftermath of a stunning 104-102 win, series opening road win after Tuesday morning's film session, but Finch perhaps delivering a subtle nudge to the NBA and its officials in the upcoming games against Wembyana pivoted to the first question of his press scrum toward the perceived goaltending. Quote, he's a generational shot blocker who is a 7'6" and goes after everything, and there's no heightened awareness for these blocks that could be goaltend, Finch asked. The third possession of the game was a goaltend, and it was a clean and obvious one, end quote. Anyways, I watched the highlights. I think he's right about 2. I wouldn't say 4 or 5. I think 2 for sure. I think 1 was undoubtedly 1, but any points that you guys have, I think Wemby had 9 blocks or some crazy shit. If you bet that 12 blocks, yeah. Well, if you bet that on a prop, God bless you. You probably got plus 1,000 on that. But anyways, anything to that? Because it does seem like when you have a freak of nature like that, whether it's any sport, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whatever, I mean, it seems like it would be tough to officiate, but what did you guys make of his comments? Pretty bold, him coming out and saying that.
I guess they're pulling a little Tony V. They're probably watching more than they're refereeing Wemby. They're probably enjoying the spectacle because he's
it all circles back.
I can't believe I'm on the same floor with that guy.
I mean, and that I actually believe that. I mean, I didn't see him, so I don't have a perspective on those calls. But I wouldn't be. I mean that actually from like a human nature vantage point. I think they might just be like, I'm guessing they were all pretty close. And he is such a physical freak of nature, and what he does is so incredible that you just sort of imagine, oh yeah, he did another amazing thing. And it might be hard, like they just might miss a couple. I think it's not so subtle of a nudge. I don't know what article you were reading. It seemed like a very forthright nudge to hope to impact the way that is called the rest of the series. And so yeah, I'd have done the same thing as a coach, and I'm not too shocked that might happen.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, Art basically said what I have to say about the matter. Yeah.
Well, we can move along and we can go to the Eastern Conference now. Which was the most shocking to you? Both the Sixers, who beat the Celtics in 7, and the Pistons, who beat the Magic in 7, came back from 3-1 deficits. The Cavs win in 7, and what was kind of a ho-hum type of, I don't know.
Worst 7-game series I've seen maybe ever.
The Cavs Raptors?
Yeah. It was
just like boring, you mean?
Yeah, boring.
Okay.
It was not in. That was by far the least amount of a series I watched out of all of them.
I would say, and the Knicks win in 6. I'll go first here quickly. I don't have very strong thoughts. The Knicks winning in 6 obviously already had his little Kuminga Atlanta Hawks run, but I think the Knicks clearly with Cat and the amount of firepower that they have, OG, Josh Hart, all the guys that they have up and down their lineup, Bridges, who they spent like 18 first-round picks for, who was a Phoenix draft pick, by the way, that they sent to the Nets and part of the KD trade. Anyways, that wasn't surprising. Cavs in 7, pretty much typical. I didn't think the Cavs would dominate like they probably should have, but I expected them to win it because they have Donovan Mitchell and they have James Harden, who's probably got one foot in the strip club. Anyways, that wasn't shocking. The 2 series, the 3-1, the Magic one surprised me less, especially with Wagner out against the Pistons and the Pistons being the number 1 seed. So I would go with the Celtics up 3-1 with all that firepower. Now, granted, there's a caveat here because Tatum did not play game 7, but the Sixers, I don't think they had beat the Celtics in a series since like the 80s. So probably 30 years or something. Them coming back 3-1 on the Celtics, who had been so good in the regular season, that was my biggest surprise. What about you boys?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a huge surprise, dude. They were, I think, in that final game, so Sixers were 10.5-point dogs, and I mean they still won.
That's poorly determined line because. You remember I was talking a little earlier on in the pod when I was talking about the Hawks. I kind of went with the Hawks because they were my darling at the time. But I mentioned after that early win that I was feeling Philly because they just have that high-end, top-end power. Seeing Paul George back on the court. Shout out to Paul George. He was the guy that almost beat Braun 15 years ago. And people have such a, I don't know. It's just I think he's gotten a bad rap in recent years. But Paul George
hang on, Art. Don't lose your train of thought. Keep whatever you're thinking. I have to interrupt because there can never be a shout out to Paul George because he gave himself the nickname Playoff Paul or Playoff P or whatever. And the guy's been anything other than that. So I can't give him any love ever until he's voiced.
Bad series. He's played a lot of great basketball in the playoffs in his life. But yeah, he's had his bad moments as well. Anyway, point being, they got Maxey. They got a young rookie who could score. Embiid came back a little sooner than I would have anticipated. So I'm not fully shocked by it. And the one reason I'm not fully shocked by it, I mean, I don't want to say that. I am shocked by it. I just want to make this point because it's something I believe strongly in. And I think we've talked about this, and sometimes you're not really with me on this, Z. And I remember when Kyrie Irving got added to Boston, you said imagine how good they're going to be. And my first reaction to that was, well, it's going to be hard to integrate them because Jaylen Brown and Tatum were up and coming at the time. Well, it's hard when you all of a sudden integrate Tatum back to your team. And I know it looked good, and I know how good he looked. But then for him to not play game 7, as you said, I don't think it's just that he missed game 7. I think that team got put in a tough position where you play all year without a guy. You have your role. That fully changes your role. Peyton Pritchard is playing a completely different basketball game with or without Tatum on the roster, right? A lot of these guys are. And so I think they got put in a tough position. And so I think it is surprising. I'm not like some idiot. Like, yeah, we didn't all expect Philly to win, but they got that high-end, top-tier talent. and Boston had to deal with that annoying thing where you got role players. Oh, I got to play bigger tonight, and it's Game 7 when they had been playing that way all year. But then all of a sudden, we're told to take a back seat. Like that's not that easy to do. So,
but the Sixers dealt with the same exact problem. Embiid came back after being out, and they got blown out the first game.
The first game was terrible. Yeah. I think
so
to Art's point,
the difference to me is a lot of the guys on Portland continue to have Paul George has played a long time, and then so he doesn't. Portland. I don't think that impacts him as much.
Philly.
Paul George. Sorry if I said Portland. Yeah. Paul George is just not the type that's going to be impacted as much. Like I wasn't worried as much as a Jaylen Brown. Right. And then you got Maxey, who's the 1A on that team now anyway, over Embiid. So I think that worked a little better for him. And frankly, I don't know. But I don't think they changed their game as much. I just think they get way better. Like they don't have any other real playmakers, right? Edgecombe is the one that probably gets impacted the most. Yeah. He probably gets more running through him when Embiid's out. And frankly, you saw his numbers started to struggle a little bit over the course of the series, but that's a net win. You also saw Embiid play with a fierce amount of heart in that Game 7. He was limping around. He could barely move. He really wanted to win a Game 7, and I don't love me no Embiid. I think he's a little bit annoying, but I was a little bit happy for him. And anyway, yeah, just that top-end talent. But you make a good point, Jake. They had to deal with a similar situation.
Yeah, but I see your point, which is the role players are completely different on both teams, and they adjust differently.
Like Oubre's role didn't change, no matter what. Exactly. Oubre's defending, grabbing some boards, shooting some threes, no matter if he's playing or not. Whereas there's guys that really have to. Who's scoring 30 points is a little bit different on that team than the way it works out in Philly for whatever reason.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. My only pushback would be you're a professional. And if I'm all of a sudden getting a bigger role because Tatum's not playing, I'm thrilled as shit. If you and I, let's just say heat check are the 7, 8, 9 guys coming off the bench, and we're walking in to the Boston TD Garden, and we got Game 7 on the line, and we hear Tatum's out. I'm looking at you, Art, and I'm licking my motherfucking chops. I'm looking at you, Jake, like, game time. Get it to the kid. Swing it to the kid. I mean, if anything, you should get more jacked up for that. And I get that it can vary. And the most disturbing thing that I heard was Jaylen Brown saying, I didn't hear until 45 minutes before the game. They should have known that Tatum couldn't have played a lot earlier than that. But I want to get into a little bit more of a macro than a micro conversation here.
I did not watch it. Before you go on, because I did not watch very much of that series. And I was trying to do a quick Google of that last game while we watched. What happened in that series that Vucevic got DNP'd? That was their big trade piece. That guy got DNP'd Game 7. They didn't let him play.
I remember seeing a bunch of memes about him. I don't know exactly.
I didn't let the guy play Game 7. Talk about regret. Talk about regret for a pickup. The guy just, I thought, oh shit, he was injured because I was looking at the Brogdon. This is just flat out DMP for Vucevic, Game 7, with Embiid in there. The guy's big, and I know they got Queta, but I saw some names on this. I follow NBA hoops pretty damn good, and I saw some names on this. I mean, they only played a few minutes. I think my shit's wrong. I don't even know who these guys are that played for the Boston Celtics. Go look at the goddamn box score. If you're on the chat line, because I know this might, go Google box score, check out the box score, and tell me if you're seeing the same 5 names as me. Because the first 2 are who you expect.
Yeah.
They are
no. Yeah, I remember seeing the lineup. It was nuts.
Who's Garza? Who the hell is Harper Jr.? And who the hell is Shireman?
So there's a theory they wanted to sit Tatum out just to get ready for next year. So they like DNP'd guys and threw out their scrubs because they didn't think they'd go far this year. That's what a Celtics fan.
Where'd you hear that bullshit? That's
Zach, have you heard of either of those 3? I need to know. And Jake, have you heard of either
Garza,
of those 3?
yes.
Hella NBA hoop.
Garza, yes.
Garza, okay. Yeah. Guy started and played 8 minutes and was minus 15.
Uh-huh.
Ron Harper Jr., why'd they start these guys anyway? I don't get. You got to look at. Please look at.
I remember seeing that lineup.
He also started and only played 4 minutes. This guy, Harper Jr.
I know, but hang on.
Harper Jr.'s son?
Art.
Harper Jr.
No, no, that's not the same guy. But look at the minutes below. Hauser played 30 minutes.
No, I know. So can you just tell me what I really wish I was closer to that game.
That was Missoula trying to psych out the Sixers. He was playing mind games.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to start some dude named freaking Ron Harper Jr. that's probably Ron Harper's son, play him 4 minutes and then fit his ass out.
I don't know.
Missoula's a strange dude.
Unless he has two sons in the league, the real Harper plays for the Spurs, who went to Rutgers in New York.
Guy played 4 minutes a game on the year.
All right.
Or in the postseason, in the regular season, he played 11 minutes a game for 29 games.
That's Missoula gamesmanship, Art.
All right, it's 8:30. It's 8.
I just can't believe what I just looked at.
It's fine. It's just 8:30, and we have a ton to get to, and I know you have to put your kids to bed. All right.
Yeah.
I do want to get to the macro thing. I do want to get to the what, Jake?
I mean, yeah, let's get to the finish line here.
Well, I mean, we have so much, so we're going to leave a bunch of stuff on the plate, which is fine. But anyways, I wanted to, should I just skip the macro conversation? I can just skip that.
Macro as far as what?
I just wanted to talk about flopping and whether or not you guys think flopping is like a very big plague on the league. Jaylen Brown had some very poignant comments about Joel Embiid and just the league as a whole. So I was going to play the audio, but we could skip that if we don't have enough time. Because it is 8:30.
Well, we have, since that's kind of an evergreen issue, we can boot that to our next show Thursday or Friday. Yeah.
All right, I'll save that. So we'll get to the Knicks blowing the brakes off of, or beating the brakes off of, blowing the what do you? You beat the brakes and you blow the what? Blow the windows. Okay. Okay. We're gonna have to edit that. I would say. I would guess that's not gonna work. I believe
Why wouldn't that work?
I believe that the New York Knicks became the first team to win 3 consecutive playoff games by 25 or more points. Now, Artie, you got your appendix taken out, I believe, when we first became friends. What grade was it? Were we even friends when you got your appendix taken out?
Yeah, we'd been friends for about 6-7 years. I was 13.
You were 13
he was a freshman in high school.
Freshman in high school.
God, I thought you were way younger. Anyways, my story on my appendix was that I let it explode in my body. Instead of just going in for about 20 minutes and getting it done the same day, I let it fester in my body so that I could do all of my 95.7 the game shifts. And so I went in on a Sunday and they said, dumbass, you let it explode. So now you're going to be in here for like 2 weeks while we stick a tube through your nose and take out all of the stuff from your appendix blowing up. Now, I don't know where in between Artie having a very smooth operation and me having a very tragic operation. Well, not tragic because I didn't die, but a hard one versus an easy one. Normally an appendix, you're in and out the same day. But anyways, he had an appendectomy and he was hit by Mikal Bridges coming off a screen. It looked a little excessive. Here is Joel Embiid on whether or not that was dirty.
Looked like there was a moment when you kind of grabbed at your stomach. Just what happened on that moment?
I got hit on it. I don't know if it was, obviously based on what's been going on. I guess I got to protect him also. I don't know if it was dirty or not. So yeah, I guess I got to do a better job of protecting my, especially that part.
Do you remember what play that happened? Was it a screen at some point? Or?
Yeah, it was off the screen. I don't think that was necessary because screen, Tyrese was already gone and he was kind of like, after the play. I just felt like it wasn't necessary, but we move on. It's whatever, it's playoff basketball. So, if that's the reality of it, I guess we got to go out and be physical too and do it too.
Now, I'm a little bit torn here because I'm very old school in that we saw a lot more physical shit go down, whether it was, Bill Laimbeer doing some crazy stuff or Dennis Rodman doing some crazy stuff. So by those standards from when we were growing up, it was not a big deal. Like it wasn't even a foul called on the play. But when you look back on it, it's really hard to not see that, to Embiid's point, Maxey was already gone. So it was unnecessary for Bridges to do anything. And he very clearly seemed to be picking out the side where the appendix is when he hit him coming off the screen. So I don't know if you guys have seen the play. I would call it a little bit dirty, but anyways, Knicks go up in another historic win, up 1-0. But your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that I didn't see the play, so I don't have a good gauge on like how obvious it is. Barring it not being just like pathetically obvious, it's exactly what you do if you're the Knicks. And if I was on the Knicks as an athlete, that I'm making sure that he gets his appendix hit in game one, because you don't play if you ain't ready to play. So you're either ready to get that appendix hit or you're not. I'm being perfectly honest. I know how I was as an athlete. If you go out there and I'm trying to win a playoff series and I think you're going to be guarding that, I'm definitely testing that.
Okay.
I'm definitely the type of guy that if you got an ankle, you got a hammy, I'm trying to make sure you have to put all your weight on your ankle, put all your not dirty. Sorry, that I meant like just going at you hard, right? I'm not talking, but yeah, in a game where you get to body people up, hell yeah, I'm gonna get you, and make sure that you feel me that game. Now I'm not targeting your appendix. I'm not like.
Well, okay, hang on. Stop. No, hang on. Stop right there, because you're saying two different things. You're saying, I'm going to body you. I'm going to be tough with you. Yes. Okay. That's fine. But then you said, I'm not going to target your appendix. It very clearly seemed to be that Mikal Bridges was targeting his appendix. So which are you saying?
Like his hand or what?
Hand? What does the hand have to do with the appendix?
What body part does Bridges hit Embiid with?
Oh, I don't know, his arm, his shoulder. I don't know, whatever. He's coming off the screen.
Oh, but that shit happens all the time. Yeah, I'd give him one.
No, but he's going. No, but he's going to the appendix.
Right.
No, but
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of garbage. I don't know.
The appendix is like what? A foot radius of your entire body. Yeah. He's clearly going there. Not his chest, not his shoulder, not his neck, not his legs. He's going for the appendix. I mean, you got to Google it to see it. I probably should have sent this to you before the show. But anyways, the point is, like, you're saying two things out of both sides of your mouth, Art. You're saying, yeah, I would do some shit like that. And if a guy's ready to go, then I'm going to test your ass. But then you're saying you wouldn't target the appendix. Motherfucker targeted the appendix.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'd probably target that shit too. But let me look at it. Let me see how bad it looks.
See, I wouldn't. I would be.
No, he didn't do nothing. Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do.
Okay.
And I feel you. He may have targeted it, but 100%. All he really did was run into a screen.
Yeah, but he could have hit him anywhere, Art. He hit him in the only location of the appendix.
I mean, if you want old school, you better do that. Like fools used to be taught to have to do that. If you don't, you get yanked from the game. True. You know, in baseball, if you don't throw at some dude's head, if they violated the sanctity of the unwritten rules, you throw at a motherfucker's head. And in basketball and football, you attack whatever hurts on that player. If Steph's shooting hand hurts, your boy Dylan Brooks would try and break his goddamn hand off of his wrist, like he did in a number of playoff games. So
you remember the lashing Kenny Salyer got? And I'm pretty sure it was for me
by Nichols.
Yep.
For what?
Yeah.
Was that after I got hit? It was after I got hit, I think. But anyway,
okay.
Yeah, I don't.
For what?
Kenny, for not hitting somebody. He fucking shook off the fuck you sign. Fucking got tore a fucking part. Got absolutely torn to fucking shreds in front of everybody.
Okay, for the listeners, and the listeners include me, because I have no clue what the bleep you're talking about. Can you explain a little bit more?
Honestly, you go. Yeah, because my memory doesn't serve me well, other than the fact that Kenny was unwilling to. Jake just said you go hit somebody, and it just hit me like a fucking ton of bricks. And he didn't.
The unwritten rules of baseball. If someone on your team gets thrown at or gets hit, or someone has some fucked up slides up on them with their cleats or something.
Yeah.
So in high school, Kenny Salyer was pitching. He was told, may or may have not been told by the higher ups on our team, aka our manager, let's hit. You better hit that dude at the plate. You better throw at him. And Kenny said in the dugout, no, I'm not going to do that. And he said, what? You better do that shit. And then he ignored Kenny, and then still kind of ordered it up, and Kenny ignored it again. And then he tore into him in the dugout after that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm a little torn because I am old school and I like people I'm all about the unwritten rules in baseball.
I'm with you.
I'm telling you right now, if a guy had his appendix taken out, I might rough him up. I might get him back into game shape or whatever. I'm not targeting the place where he had his appendix removed. I'm sorry. I got to draw the line there.
Organs and your insides is a whole different ball game than
there ain't no insides. His insides are fine. That thing ain't even there anymore. It's now superficial. It's now a cut on his.
It's sore and it's
fair game then. Fair game.
No, but also,
he got cleared for contact, Bill. He's cleared for contact.
If a manager asked me to hit a batter, I would hit them, but not in the head. Again, I have a line somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hit him right in the ribs. Maybe I'll even break his hamate bone on his wrist or whatever. But I'm not throwing.
That's fucked up, man.
Well, I'm kidding. But my point is, I'm not hitting him in the head, and I'm not going after a guy's appendix that's been recently fixed. Anyways, all right. We don't have much time. I do want to get to this audio because this audio already, forgive me, I didn't get your Le'Veon Bell, but that's not really that time sensitive, so we can get to that next week. I do want to get to this. I want you guys to imagine Jacob Adam Lucas, Artavon. Do you have a middle name? Daveron? You guys get a brand.
I do not know that, bro.
Darab. Yeah, I kind of knew that, but I didn't know if it was.
I knew that. My mom's last name. You've knew me for 30 years.
No, I know that's her. I just could have. It's a maiden name, kind of. Anyways, all right.
The Persian diversion.
Just imagine that you two get a job, and you're sitting there, and there's a press conference, and you're getting interviewed for said job, and there's some guy that's in the crowd, and this is what he asks. Not you. He's not talking to you. Okay. Now, this is, let me get the names right here. This is John Cheka being introduced as the new Toronto Maple Leafs GM. And this is Steve Simmons from the Toronto Sun asking Keith Pelly, who I believe is the CEO of the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know, we don't do a ton of hockey here unless we're talking about our Sharks. But just imagine.
Bleed the teal.
Just imagine. Feel the teal. Fear the teal.
I bleed teal.
Love the teal. Bleed the teal. Bleed it. Feel it. Fear it. Also fear it. Anyways, just imagine that a guy asks your boss this question about you.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring, and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion than I was able to come to in a very short time?
I must have talked to different people.
That's it? Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay.
The guy's sitting right there. The guy that he's talking about is sitting right there while he's asking that question. He basically said, how in God's name could you do this? I talked to 20 hockey insiders. One of them said it was a good hire. They said he was a con art while the guy's sitting there. Normally, an introductory, think about all the press conferences, even Tom Sula's press conference when he was farting up a storm and acting like an idiot and couldn't get out 4
wiping
words.
his brow, sweating profusely.
Even that, the press was celebratory. They were like, oh, the linebacker, defensive line coach, we love him. Oh, Tom Sula, bring him in. Everybody's happy. This guy said he's a con artist. He's an idiot. I've talked to 20 people, and only one of them said it was a good hire. Anyways, your thoughts.
First of all, either that guy was super nervous asking that question, or it was RFK.
Not at all.
Yeah, I thought it was RFK Jr. for sure.
It was RFK Jr. or the guy was super nervous. His voice kept shaking and gargling. We talk to people.
I feel. Hang on. Let's listen back. It's less than a minute. Let's listen back. I feel the opposite.
Hey, breaking news: the Teal have the number 2 pick in your next NHL draft.
What was our odds?
Low. I mean, maybe mid. I mean, we were almost made the playoffs. Came down to the last 2 games of the year. So that's a hell of a pick right there. Let's go.
All right. So you guys got no thoughts on that guy just completely shitting on the new GM?
I love it. It was very entertaining. It was humorous. I don't know what you want from me, Zachariah. I enjoyed the clip. It gave me entertainment.
Not much, but. All right. Well, there was a couple of more things on the word, but it is. I mean, here's the thing. It's not like the guy. It's not like the guy wasn't there. The guy was sitting right there.
Well, you better have thick skin if you're a new hire for a GM. So wear it.
I mean, I need so much more context. Like, who was the clown in that situation? Was it the reporter? Is this guy a complete joke? Like, I don't know enough about hockey to even know what happened. Just from a flat out human perspective, yes, it is pretty unreal to ask that question with the son of a bitch sitting right there.
I kind of like whoever the president or owner was who just said, okay. He's like totally.
Well, he was like, you talk to different people than me. Or to answer your question, it would be like Tony V getting hired and Susan Slusser in the press conference being like, hey, Buster Posey, this guy's a clown. All he talks about is coaching in college. He's got no MLB experience. Everybody that I've talked to said that this is an ass clown hire. How can you justify doing that? Yeah, but that's the thing. Incredible. Tony V is sitting right next to Posey while she's asking that question.
That's the one where we need the video, because I was really more just thinking about it as the guy not there, even after you.
He's right there.
No, you said it.
Well,
but the more you bring it, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous.
I mean, I'm glad I finally got you fired up because I gave you an example that you can relate to. But yes, it is literally Buster Posey sitting next to Tony V and Susan Slusser taking the mic and going, this is an ass clown hire. How the bleep could you hire this idiot? He's only been in. Oh, he's terrible. He's got a terrible track record. I mean, the guy had everything going for him. He's justified in his questions. It's just the goal to do that. I mean, it would be like, okay, let's say I got married tomorrow and it was a stripper and you guys hated the girl and she was a thief and you were like, it'd be like you going to the wedding.
Don't do it.
It'd be like you going to the wedding and be like, don't do it. How could you marry this whore right in front of me? That's essentially what happened.
I hope Trent Baalke gets that treatment in his presser now that he's in the Browns front office. I don't know how he keeps getting hired, but it's very on brand on brand for the Browns to hire Trent Baalke. It just happened a few days ago.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, we had a little more for the word, but we'll save it. It is 8:47. We are approaching 2 hours as per usual. We're going to be moving to a different night, so I don't have a softball update for you. Had to give Dom the bad news that Billy Boy will not be no longer playing in the beer league softball. Told the guy, hey, we're going to be doing Monday nights coming up here in a few weeks, so no point to factor me in. I'm looking to join other softball leagues, though, on different nights other than Monday.
Bill abandons Juanito on Cinco de Mayo, no less.
Headline news.
Cold-blooded.
However, what we do have is a fresh new update from manager Artavon Daveron, which is an anagram, and damn it, I know it. You know, I ended up, well, I'll text you on the side, Artie, of how that's stuck in my memory on how to remember that now. I can't say it on the air because I don't want to upset anybody, but I now know to say anagram all the time. But manager, head coach, sometime, well, we're not going to talk about the controversy that we talked about earlier. That was me censoring myself, Art, right there. But anyways, we have some updates on the ladies. How many heartbreakers have you had, just to tell the people out there that I know that they want to know the update?
A lot.
How many losses of 3 or less runs?
I'm not sure. I don't keep track like that. Call it 3 or 4.
Okay.
There's only a couple. We got blown out a couple times. Every other game we could have won. There's been a lot of good games.
All right.
What's going on with the Razorbacks? Let's hit us with it.
Razorbacks. Wildcats.
Wildcats. Hit us with it.
Here's what and by the way, I heard
Jake, Arkansas.
I did hear Jake's children crying about 5 minutes ago, I think. So that is, I'm sorry, Jake. I know you're working double time right now, just struggling to stay with us. I'm pretty sure that happened. If you saw me smiling at one point, I thought we made eye contact.
I think we're good now. I think they hit their airwaves.
I'm pretty sure we made eye contact, which is kind of hard on the airwaves, and I'm pretty sure it happened when I was hearing it, and I knew what was happening. Anyhow,
yes, correct.
Wildcats just had, and I just had as a coach, my most rewarding, best week, and it came right after my update where we were, if you recall last week, I went through a number of losses, and that was the update. We had gone through a grind. We had lost a few games. And I talked about really just the girl spirit of continuing to grind and continuing to try to work. And Jake, you know, you had your joke about results, and we had a fun update. Now, we've had we got a knock on the door that says this is gonna end, but hopefully they stop. We had 3 games since we last met. We had a Thursday night game, we had a Saturday game, and we had a Monday night game last night. And I also practiced Monday and Wednesday coming off of our game last Saturday. So the girls have seen each other Monday, Wednesday for practice, Thursday game, Saturday game, Monday game, right? So a lot of softball has been played, and we had those 2 practices because we've been struggling. On the Monday practice, we did about an hour and a half of situations. I had live base runners. I had no other coaches that were able to join, but my whole team showed up for the first team in a while. I had a little brother there. I said, grab a helmet, meet. You're getting on these bases. And we ran all day. I'm just hitting the balls. And it was Lord knows, about as frustrating as a practice you can get. But we got an hour and a half of live work in, okay? We went out there Wednesday. We did a ton of live hitting. And we got a girl on the team that is really, really good. She's got the most beautiful swing. She's just great. And she's somebody I believe a lot in. And she had been scuffling. And then she had a bad game in our last game before those practices. She went home super disheartened, really emotional. And I was gutted for her because I could tell how much she cares. Somebody you would love, the coach, right? How much she cares about playing well. She'd had a bad game. She'd been struggling. What Monday, Wednesday practice, had a chance to talk to her. I'd been working on her swing a little bit with her, had another couple pointers. I don't know if those helped her much, but I also went on a little walk with her during practice and just talked about trying to get out of her head and trying to remember that, like, I don't remember if I talked about this last time, but I talked about how much you care to get you to work. But don't care that much about the result, man. Like, you can't pressure yourself, and it's all bad if you don't get a hit, and it's all bad if you do this wrong, because then you're going to cycle. Softball's not a game you can do that. If you're thinking about every at bat, like, I suck if I don't get a hit, or I can't do that, it cycles. If you turn it into work. So we have this conversation, and boy, we go out Thursday night. Thursday night was rough. We had to finish the first game of the season when the lights went off. We had all the momentum, and they had this horrible rule where if you don't show up, you're an out in the lineup. Are you kidding me? So I had all these girls that ended up being considered outs because they weren't there that day. I had to play with 8 on Thursday. I had my whole team there on the opening night. So we lose on some poor rules that game. We go out, the bats come to life. We lose a heartbreaker on Thursday, 15-13. But this girl hits a grand slam, hits another double. She gets the game ball. It's her birthday the next day. Spirits are up. I told you guys last week, I think, if not, I had to miss a game on Saturday. And it's really not like me, but we had a big family event for our my wife's cousin. His mother recently passed away. His father recently passed away. And they had a baby shower, so they're like, nah, we're older than him, and that's part of it. You know, we're family. Like, nah, we're gonna all be there. Lila was giving me a hard time for even mentioning going to the game. She's like, nah, there's one baby shower. We're going there for Scotty. So we go there Saturday. I'm on Game Changer the whole ride back, man. My girls go out there. Another huge
For the
win.
people, hang on. Sorry to interrupt. For the people that don't know, Game Changer is an app that you can follow. I follow my nieces and my nephews on that. You can follow along games on your phone.
Might as well been Game 7 of the Warriors in the NBA Finals, and it was just a random Saturday against the Lady Vols in this league. And these girls pull out a hell of a victory. I was so happy for them. Me and Lila raced to the field from Sacramento because we saw that the game had ended, and we missed them by a half second because we just knew how happy everyone would be. Then we show back up on Monday, and against a team that we struggled against in our first time, we go out there, and finally we've been mercy ruled once. We flipped it on them. We went mercy rule on them. I think we won 15-2 in 4.5 innings, but it has nothing to do with the wins and losses. I was trying to say that last time, and I you know how competitive I am. So I want to win. My girls want to win. It does matter in that it impacts your fun. But my God, I'm learning more and more how much it's really not about that. And I cannot tell you, and it's all intermixed. But these girls, man, it made me – on Thursday, I will also say I at one point throw my shit down and I'm talking to myself. And I'm like, I don't even know why we practice. You know, I'm like, I'm going to cancel all the practices. There's no point. They were throwing the ball all over the field, right? And it's right after we had this. I can't tell you what they do 5 days later, and that's because of confidence. And so to anybody out there, man, whatever you're doing, you got to do it with confidence, because all of a sudden these girls' mind frames changed and they're out here having fun again. They're smiling and they're confident. They had no errors. The only error they made, this is 10U softball, and they've been throwing the ball all over the field all year. Every team does. Every team throws the ball all over the place. We had 5 innings, which is rare. We had 15 outs, 7 of them by strikeout. 8 were putouts. The only error was made by our second baseman, who fielded the ball cleanly and got too excited and just tried to run to second and got beat there. But even better than that, my daughter's playing shortstop, and it's something we've been working on as a team forever. She's there waiting for the throw, right? And this is something we've been struggling with, is getting to your base where you're supposed to be. So even the one play that was there, Lila had not made the mental mistake. 8 putouts, man. We had a ball smashed to the first baseman, hit off her chest, hit off her helmet, grabs the ball, makes it out at first. Lila caught. She gunned somebody at third. She caught somebody stealing, man. That is not very common in this league. So anyway, I can't tell you how fun it was coaching them, to just watch some of the work pay off, but more importantly, because I don't know if it was the work, to see the girls trust themselves, feel themselves. So now we're in that grind. And now if we're talking brass tacks, we're 4-7, I want to say. We are right now sitting, I think, in 8th place. And we really want to get to 6th place if we want to avoid the play-in. You got to play into the tournament. There's 10 teams in the league. If you're 7th place, you're in that play-in.
Just like the NBA, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So we got to get to that 60. So that means we got to go win a ball game on Saturday, win another ball game. But yeah, it's a hell of a time. The girls are playing with such confidence. There's so much smiles, and they're starting to hit. We got no hit 2 games in a row. We had no hits across 8 innings across 2 games about 2 weeks ago. Last night we had 11 hits. The game against the Buckeyes, I think we had 11 hits. The girls are hitting the ball.
Love it.
It's real fun. So sorry, that might have been more than you bargained for.
No, that was great. Loved every minute of it.
Hey, I wanted results, Art, and God damn it, you gave them to me. So thank you for that, brother. Thank you for that.
3 on Saturday. Let's go.
Good work. Good
Confidence is king.
All right, fellas. We may or may not have another show on Friday. Probably not. Maybe so. Who knows? Follow everything on at Hum Daddies, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm at Zach Sports on Twitter, at ZAK Sports. Art, you are at Art.
.knows.sports on the gram. Art knows _sports on Twitter. Follow the Hum Daddies, though, more importantly. Hum Daddies.
Holla.
Hum Diggity Daddies, I'd like to thank John Joseph. Thanks for keeping that chat line alive. Thank you, Call Him Like I See Him. Thank you, Hercules Dan. Thank you, Rags, early on. Thank you, Jakari, Mr. Mayweather, for showing up and wanting us to talk Champions League soccer. I can do that. These other two probably not so well. But yeah, Zach, we can get into that in a bit. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you on Friday, and maybe Zach will pop up for a solo show. It's called Zolo, brought to you by the Hum Daddies. More updates to come. Like and subscribe. Follow everyone. Have a great week. Heat check. Peace. Take it easy, y'all.
Peace.
Holla.